Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist turned mindset and high performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that help you get to that next level of success in your life and business. And my guest today is business and life coach Brett Baughman, who specializes in helping his clients become their best selves. He will help you discover your passions so that you can level up your performance in all areas of life, from career to relationships. He's a best-selling author, a retreat host, recently launched his own coaching app, and was voted the top business coach to work with in 2023 by Apple News. And it sounds like we have a lot in common, so I can't wait to hear more about his work. Welcome, Brett, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
Thank you, Claudia. Real pleasure. I'm excited to learn more about you and chat about how we can help heal the planet, right, and advance everybody's success.
Yes, let's do this. So, Brett, let's start by talking a little bit about your background and personal story. What inspired you to become a life and business coach?
You know, it's interesting. From a very young age, it's funny, I used to do entertainment, did acting and music, a lot of things, and I loved it. But I realized very quickly into my career that I thought that it was this being on stage that I really enjoyed. It was really the psychology. I've always had a bug for psychology, communication, and behavior. And I realized that I really liked to figure out why people do what they do. And then that started translating at a very young age. I was doing sales training, developing companies and working with teams, consulting. But I would go to a company and do really well, and they'd get good results. I'd see an uptick in performance. Then I would leave, and I would see things slide. And I was like, what's going on? Like, if I'm there, things are good. When I leave, it's not. So I started looking up ways to duplicate myself and duplicate my process. And I found NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and a couple different modalities. And once I found that, it shifted everything. I was going in focused on the product and focused on like the numbers and the sales, which are important, but I was making them the primary focus. And I realized it's not about that. It's about the people. And when you shift and you work at the person and help them develop their skills and their goals and their impact and their passion behind what they're doing, that you get tremendous results. And then people are engaged to do the work, right? Because nobody really cares about selling a widget. They care about what it does for their life. Like, is this paying off my daughter's college? Is this helping me buy a home? Is this helping me, gain new knowledge and resources to further my life? And so that really shifted. And that's when my journey began.
Oh, I love it. It sounds like you have found your passion for sure. Now, for everyone out there who hasn't found their passion yet, do you have any actionable tips to help them uncover or discover their passions and then use them to build a life and business they love?
I do, actually. And it's funny because my entire process, I have a trademarked process called the Ideal You. And the foundation of that is built in helping my clients uncover their passions. Because a lot of times in life, we tend to do things out of, like I say, it's either passion or it's pain management, right? I want to just get over this. I want this to finish. I want to stop being stressed. I want to be able to pay my bills. And so when you really understand your passions, I call these your unconscious drivers. They're the things that really make you tick, right? Like, you're either a mountain person or a beach person. You like, sushi or you don't, or like this. It's the things that really make us who we are. And when you uncover your passions at a deep level, then you know what you need to do each day to be fulfilled. And when you're not fulfilled, you know what you're not doing that's missing. So what I do is I have my clients go through a process of looking at each area of life. I think you should look at, I do 6 areas of my approach. It's career, relationships, health and fitness, personal growth, spirituality, and hobbies. Because I feel that when you leave any of those things out, you start to realize if you focus too much on career, one of those things will suffer, your health, your relationships, and vice versa. So I have people look at each of those areas of life and start doing a brain dump, a process where you brainstorm and go through and figure out what's important, and keep answering this question over and over. So your mind starts consciously and subconsciously answering it all the time. And you start noticing like, wow, so many things I'm doing in my day are not important to me, or these things are important. I keep shelving. And so you go through a process of filtering this until you get to a point where you hit a wall and you no longer have anything that is more important than these things you've listed. And then what we start doing is we look at the nuances of, okay, so if helping people is a passion, is a great passion, it's not just helping people, it's how you help people and when you help people and which people you help. And we just keep boiling this down and refining it. And you get to a place where you recognize, wow, there's nothing more important than this to me. And when I do this, even if I'm thinking about it, I become inspired. I shift my state. And so that's really where we start with that foundation, because I'm a great coach. I'm an amazing puzzle solver, but I have to have the pieces. And I always want to guide my client based on what's coming from them internally.
Yeah, I totally understand. And it's kind of similar to the process that I use for my clients as well, because in the end, it really comes down to carefully and consciously curating your life, right? You have to pick and choose. And then, I mean, so many people I see who say, for instance, family is my most important, it's the most important thing in my life. But then family life is kind of, they don't even do anything. Like they focus on work all day long, and then they see their family for 5 minutes a day. So if you say it's super important to you, but your actions don't really reflect that, then there's something misaligned there, right?
That's the guilt, right? It's so funny you say that, because I tell my clients, I go, listen, when you do this, this is not what you think it should be, or like, because somebody's looking at it and grading you. I'm like, if your kids are not the top of your list of most important, that's okay. You weren't built that way. And it doesn't mean you don't love them. It means that you're going to choose the formula that works best so that you can have a cascading effect and actually give them all the love you want. But if you're out of balance and don't have these things aligned, like you said, then what happens is you focus on the family and it's not your passion, and you don't prosper. And then everybody suffers, right?
Absolutely. Now let's dig a little deeper. So how do you help your clients find peak performance? You already mentioned NLP, and it's something that I love as well. But can you share maybe some of the other modalities that you use, or walk us a little further through your framework? What's next after identifying the passions?
We do the vision with the ideal you, which is making sure we go out and understand, if you were able to be your ideal self, what would be the aspirations of the ideal self? What would be the things that they would be dreaming of and aspiring to do? What would be the challenges and obstacles of that ideal version of yourself that's maybe 5 or 10 years down the road? Because when you jump into that, when you quantum leap into that version of you, all of a sudden the things you're working on and worried about right now become elementary, and you're inspired to accomplish those things because you're going to quantum leap into a higher version, a more advanced level of yourself. And then beyond that, what we do is we then say, okay, if this is the goals, the dreams, the fears, the obstacles of you in that quantum leaped version, let's develop a daily routine that helps you become and think as that person. So each day you're going to do transcendental meditation, you're going to do breath work, you're going to be reading, you're going to be exercising, eating well, networking with people that share your passions. So what you're doing is you're enveloping your entire life in this vision and making sure that you have so many methodologies and tools that keep you focused into the person you want to be, so that it becomes an anomaly that you have an off day, rather than an anomaly that you actually are performing highly.
Yes, that sounds like exactly what I do as well. So you basically help people embody their goals, right? They help them grow into the person they want to become. And as you already said, I mean, I'm totally convinced that sustainable success is a reflection of your daily habits.
Exactly.
So I wonder what your personal success habits look like. So can you maybe walk us through a typical day in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. I'm a junkie for this. It's funny. Everybody that knows me says I'm probably the most disciplined person they know. I mean, especially if I find out something is good to do and I test it out, it sticks with me forever. So I wake up every morning pretty much between like 5:30 and 6 a.m. Within the first 5 to 10 minutes of waking up, I have this temple here that I come into. It's a space I've created where this is my meditative kind of like, creative space. I open sacred space. So I kind of say a little prayer. Then I do meditation, transcendental meditation for 20 minutes. First thing I do actually is I check in with my breathing. So before I affect anything, so I walk in this room, set sacred space, then I just sit for a moment. I check in with myself because I want to calibrate where I'm at. Like, how am I starting my day? Am I feeling grounded and positive? Am I feeling anxious? Is my mind busy? I just take note. I think the most important thing we can do as people is become an observer of your experience, not always engaged in it. Like Bruce Lee said, flow like water. And the way you get there is by being able to observe the water. You can't always be the water. And so I observe what's going on. So I can say, okay, today this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm going to maybe need to make an adjustment to be that ideal self. Then I take a moment and I breathe, get my breath. I'll do a 4-2-6 breathing. So inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6, and just kind of get myself cycled to a very grounded state. Then I'll do 20 minutes of transcendental meditation, with a mantra. Then once I finish that, I will visualize. Then I go over, I read my passions. When I help clients, just like, myself, I come up with my 5 top passions. These are the things that I want to focus on each day that define who I'm going to be and really culminate to my vision. So I read over those. I really visualize into each of those, make them at a cellular level who I am. Then what I do is I go over a list of affirmations, all the things I need to be, do, and have in order to execute on those passions today and to live them. Then I go over a list of gratitudes, people I'm grateful for, things I'm grateful for in my life. And then I set 3 goals for my day. A super high level goal that if I accomplish it would be extraordinary, a challenging goal that is going to push me, and a medium level goal that I know I'm going to succeed at, but gets the ball rolling on success. And every one of those things, even though they're powerful on their own, it's the formula of how you do them, because I want to move through checking in with myself, settling my body, opening my mind, integrating information from the meditation, getting open to receive, going through the passions, which is the most important thing to receive, then using the affirmations to drill into how it's going to be accomplished. That's all heady, kind of up here in thinking and frequency, brainwaves. And then you move to the heart chakra with your gratitude, so that when you go out in the world, you're empathetic. You're not going out being egotistical or feeling anxious, but you come from a place of being grounded. And so that's my technique. Then I go take my dog on a walk. I go to the gym and work out, start reading, listening to audiobook. And that's kind of my process. I spend the first 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours alone in my morning as much as possible. It's kind of my sacred time. And then beyond that, the day is for everybody else. I'm out there helping, healing, coaching, guiding, consulting, whatever is needed. But I want to make sure I'm taken care of early in the morning, because I can be my best for everyone else. And also then it's uninterrupted.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's so funny because I do a lot of this very similar processes. So I do breath work in the morning as well. I do meditation. I exercise in the morning, because I used to do a lot of these things in the evening, and then at some point I just found that I was drained at the end of the day, and sometimes I would just skip it, and then I would feel guilty about it, and it would just start this negative spiral. So I put all of this in my morning routine, and that way it just gets done, because in the morning I'm still fresh. I'm a morning person, so I can just layer more and more things into my morning routine and test things out. And sometimes, things work for a period of time, and then your circumstances change. So I always try to remind people that your habits or your routine is not set in stone. And every now and then you should just review if the pieces are still aligned and are still working in your favor, because sometimes they only work for a while, and then
you accomplish them, right? It's like, there's certain things I've said I'll have like an affirmation or a vision I'm working towards, and then all of a sudden you realize you've driven past it, right? I'm like, oh wow, I passed that 2 weeks ago. But if you're, like you said, if you're checking in, that's why I think it's important. Every about 3 or 4 months. So most of my clients work with me. We work on a monthly basis, but I have 15 executives I work with right now, and 11 of them have been with me for 2 to 3 years. So we're together for a long time. And so every 3 or 4 months, I go, okay, time to check in. I'm like, do your routine for me. And so I have them do a mock version of the routine for me in our session. I'm like, do it just like you're going to do it in the morning. We go through the steps, and I recognize, you know what? You're not really associating to what you're saying. You're just saying all these things, like checking the box, like I'm this, I'm doing this. I'm like, wait. That's not going to affect you. So I have them slow down. And if you really associate and speak something with, visualize it and speak it with passion, you can tell whether you resonate with that anymore or not. You're like, I want to be this thing, or I'm doing this thing. Like, this doesn't matter anymore. I'm like, then let's remove it. But if you don't take the time to really associate and really feel what you're saying and doing, you're going to miss the mark, and you're not going to recognize that thing. Like you said, it doesn't resonate. It's no longer purposeful. And so I'm always have everybody check in and adjust to make sure that what they're doing is serving them still, right? And like you said, not doing things later in the day, unfortunately, that can be good and for a different reason, but that's reactive, right? You're now trying to heal or fix the problems of the day. Like, I'm so stressed out, so now I'll go to the gym to try to get rid of the stress. I'm like, I'd rather start the day and put a shield up, and then I'm not stressed all day. It's like it's like prepping for a speech after you gave it. Or going back and correcting all the things that were wrong. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work for me.
So true. Yeah, I love that. Now, did you ever struggle with any negative habits in your life? If so, would you mind sharing what you struggled with, how it impacted your life, and how you broke free from that negative habit?
Oh boy, how long is the show? We'll start with some that'll be purposeful for everybody else here. A couple things that really became powerful shifts in my life experience and my performance were, one was I didn't realize how rigid I used to be about things. I think sometimes if you're a high performer or somebody that really is driven to succeed, that when we're younger and not as wise in our careers, you learn things and you start to think, whether consciously or unconsciously, that you know everything, or like you think like, oh, I've got the answers. And so I used to feel that when I was coaching people or consulting companies, that things had to be a certain way. In order for them to be successful, it had to be like this. It was very formulaic. It was more rigid instead of being so open and flexible to other opportunities and options. And so I actually have two mantras I say for myself now, and I coach my clients to do, which is let go of things needing to be a certain way. Man, that changed my life. I had a relationship that ended a couple of years ago, and we went through some different things. And after it ended, I realized, I was like, wow, I didn't realize this person was doing some unhealthy things. And I wanted this person to be healthier and get some help or do some things. I didn't even realize that because I saw a path for healthier and for this person to be healthier, I had to have them be healthier. I was like, I didn't let them have their own journey. I'm like, because I thought I had the right answer. And so letting go of like things need to be a certain way, like not enforcing your beliefs or your process on somebody else, but being a light or being a guide when somebody asks for that help. And then the other thing goes very much in tandem with that is letting go of things, letting go of needing to be right, even when you are. Because if you're right and you wrong somebody, they don't learn and they end up stopped. They don't trust you anymore. They don't come to you for guidance. And so you don't always have to be right. You don't always have to show people you're right. Just be a place where people can come for help and guidance when they ask for it, and always be willing to challenge people in a positive way for the things they say they want help with, I think is really important. Those things, and empathizing. Like when I was younger, I've always been a good person. I've never really been like a person that lied or cheated on people and did things. And so I would be flabbergasted why people would do it to other people, to family members, to loved ones, to people they cared about. And I went through some amazing trainings, and I really learned about the different values levels where people are coming from in their life and the perspective they have on their life. So basically it's the lens they're seeing the world through. And I didn't understand that before, but then I started understanding like, wow, based on someone's life experience, where they're coming from, their education, their family history, etc., they're seeing a world in a certain way. So I have a mantra I say to myself, that everybody's doing the best they can with the resources they have. And I became so much better at empathizing with people. So rather than judging their experience or wondering why they did something, I could understand it. I start to look like, oh, I see why that person's doing road rage and racing around me. Did you ever have road rage when you're happy? Nobody has road rage when they're having a great day. I'm like, that poor person, something either just terrible happened and they're angry about it, or they're heading someplace stressful they don't want to be going. And you start to empathize with people, and you create a space for people to forgive themselves and to grow, and to maybe have an opportunity, if they're not judged, to say like, I want to be better. But when we judge, we just perpetuate the problem. And so those were some really big growth experiences for me that have brought me a lot of success, but a lot of peace of mind. I feel like a better person, and I feel like I can help people better now.
So powerful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
And
yeah.
Something that I noticed, especially the first one that you mentioned, I mean, this is so important, not just in a business context, but it's something that I realized that I do a lot with my kids. Like this need for them to be a certain way. Like as a parent, you kind of feel they should be doing things a certain way. And every now and then I just need to catch myself and be like, let them be their own person, don't judge them, let them find their way. And this can be, this is something that I find really hard as a parent. So this is something that I have to work on as well.
Yeah, it really, it's also as an executive, as someone that's in business, whether you're an entrepreneur running your own company or whether you're an executive at a company, a lot of times we fit into the corporate world or into the box that's created at a business, and you have to follow the missions and the things that are put together by, a business you're working with. But when you let go of things that need to be a certain way, you allow yourself to innovate. I mean, two of the most powerful behaviors we have is creativity and curiosity. And without them,
Mhm.
you're not going to change. You're going to continue to refine what you're already doing. So if you're unhappy with what you're doing and it's not seeing the results you want, you're not going to get anywhere. You're only going to do it through allowing yourself that opportunity to innovate, to look at something different, say maybe, I mean, look at like people like Elon Musk, just the incredible people, Bezos, that are doing these unbelievable things. They're looking at the world a different way. They're saying, yeah, it's been done like this, but what if we did it like this? Or what do we don't know that we're not knowing right now? And that's where you really start to level up your skill set and start to see great achievements and advancements in your career and your relationships and your health.
Yes, yes, we definitely have to learn to shift our perspective. And the other thing that I've noticed as well is the power of play, because most people, when they grow up, they learn to be serious all the time. And as you said,
Yeah.
they are stuck refining their processes instead of being open and to exploration, to using and just following their curiosity, and to be a little more playful, to discover those new options that they might not have seen before. Because if you're just stuck in your ways, you don't see all the possibilities that are
Mhm.
hidden in plain sight, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I talked about that. I think it was just yesterday, last week. I'm always kind of paying attention for the themes or what's coming up with my clients and like the tone of things, right? Because sometimes, something's going on in the world, and so that can affect how things go. But I'm always looking like, what's the tone of all my clients right now? What's the theme that's happening with our conversations? And last week, I noticed there was very little laughter. I always try to pay attention to how much laughter or joy we have in our conversations. Like, what are we excited about? What funny thing are we learning about and looking at it from like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was doing that. And now I've done this, like these things that make us excited and happy. Last week was a much more serious tone. It seemed like everybody was coming from a place of a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of stress. And so I try to infuse some laughter, some joy all the time so we can remember, like you said, to be playful. It's so important in life. Otherwise, we're just working all the time, and that's no fun.
True. The next thing I wanted to ask you about is something that I'm personally really curious about. I saw that you have this upcoming retreat in Tulum, Mexico in November this year, and it sounds amazing. I love Mexico. I had the most wonderful holiday there once, and I fondly remember beautiful weather, delicious food, friendly people, a breathtaking tropical landscape, swimming in cenotes, exploring old ruins, and so much more. So it makes me want to go there again. So tell me all about the retreat that you have planned there.
Thank you. I'm so excited about this. This has been a lot of work. It's one of the most rewarding and challenging things I've done because it's such a big endeavor. But I'm super excited about it. So it's called, it's the Awakening. It's our Action Mastery Retreat, the Awakening. And what's really unique about it is, again, I've been doing this for 23 years as a life and business coach, and I really meticulously understand what it takes to really transform somebody, mind, body, and spirit. So it's not just fixing your career, fixing a relationship, but where you really level up in every area of life and say, wow, I'm a different person. I'm producing different results. I'm seeing the world differently. I, most importantly, feel different about my experience. Like I'm inspired, I'm challenging myself, and I'm seeing leaps and bounds in my income and in my relationships. And so what I realized that we needed to do was, instead of it just making it the immersion, just the retreat, which is a 1-week retreat in Tulum, I'm actually coaching people for 2 months before they come. So there's 2 months of one-on-one coaching with me. So we're going through all the things I've been talking about today: discovering your passions, increasing your emotional intelligence, developing your daily routine, learning how to make a higher impact. My biggest thing is, how do I teach people to make a greater positive impact in their life and the world around them? So you measure it, not just I see some changes, but like making an impact. I now understand what I want to do in my family's life, in the community, and my business, where I look at it and go, wow, I'm on another scale. And so we work for 2 months to get you to that point. So you have the map, you have the tools, you're already getting results, but then we go together with a group that's been curated. So they're all sharing a similar experience and coming from a similar place. We go for 7 days to Tulum. We have a private eco resort. It's unbelievable. It's so big. It's like Jurassic Park. You have to drive in a van from one end to the other just to get to where we're doing sessions at. There's 5 beautiful Spanish homes people are staying in. I have 12 facilitators with me. We're doing everything from mindset coaching to sound healing to breath work to meditation. We have musical concerts, DJs coming in. We have excursions. We're taking off and going to these private resorts, private cenotes, and it's unbelievable. But my goal is to create a container where when you get into this space, you're in another world. A lot of times you can go to events or experiences and like you kind of plug in and out. You go and do this thing and you go back to your world. You leave here, there's a big break in time. I'm putting people in a bubble where the whole time it's empowerment, enlightenment, joy, friendship, growing, knowledge, and you're cradled. You come in and don't have to think about anything. And for the whole 7 days, you're taken through everything that's very meticulously crafted to help you heal and kind of take you through a flow of kind of like I think about a spa, a 7-day spa, where you come out and you're like, wow, I've been cleansed head to toe, mind, body, and spirit. So it's going to be extraordinary.
It sounds absolutely fascinating. So let's break this down and maybe quickly answer the most pressing questions that listeners might have at this point. So just one by one. So whom is this experience designed for? Who are the ideal people for this experience?
Great. So, I would say there's two answers to that, two simple answers: high-performing executives and entrepreneurs. Because most of the time it's people that are really looking to level up, like not only just like their life, but their careers. And it's really going to give them a map to see real measurable results, right? Not just feel better, but there's real measurable results. It's a plan we're putting together and you're seeing yourself get there. The other is anybody who is really feels stuck in their life right now. If anybody feels that they're not seeing the results, the change they want, and maybe they feel like they've been repeating this for a long time, this is going to show you how to cleanse these things out of your life and have a routine that produces results. I mean, if you do the routines I give you, you're absolutely going to make a change. You're going to see an impact in your life. So that's who I would say it's for.
Awesome. Now, if you had to summarize it in maybe 1 or 2 sentences, what can people expect from the retreat as an end result?
Excellent. So you are going to discover your passion. You will clearly understand what you need to do every single day to be inspired, every day to be fulfilled by your life, and to know what you need to be doing and changing to see growth consistently. So you're going to leave and you are going to know how to make a greater positive impact in your life and the world around you, from yourself, your business, your family, your friends, to where you measure it and say, wow, every month you'll see yourself growing and every year will be an evolved version of yourself.
Awesome. What's included and how many people will be in this experience?
Wonderful. So 24 guests. It's for 24 guests. Everything is included except for your flight. So you just have to get the flight there because people are coming from all over the different parts of the world. It's crazy logistics trying to make it map for everybody. But once you get there, everything is covered for you. So all your meals, your stay, all of the excursions, all of the sessions we do. The only thing you would pay for when you're there is a couple of our facilitators have some additional things you can do there for fun. Like you can get one of my friends is an amazing photographer. She's coming down and videoing and documenting the whole thing. So we're going to make an entire documentary out of it. So she'll be doing some photo sessions if people want that for fun in the jungle. We'll have some coaches that'll be doing some private sessions if you want to meet with them. But once you get there, you're taken care of by our entire team from beginning to end.
Sounds so good. So what's the price point?
So it's $6,000. It's $559.95. Yeah. Awesome. So it's actually really good. I mean, it's like you're getting 2 months of coaching plus the entire immersion for that.
That's true. And how can people sign up?
You can go to my landing page. You can either go to my website or my landing page. If you go to brettbaughman.com, there is a tab at the top that says Action Mastery, and you click that for the retreats, and you can go right there. You can also find it on all my social media. There's a link. And what you're going to do first is you're going to book a discovery call with me. So I want to make sure and talk with everybody first and make sure it's the right move for you. I'm always going to make sure that this is the right timing. You're in the right place. You understand what you're doing. And also we're really curating the crew to make sure that everybody that comes is going to be a good fit, because for me, it's always about long-term benefits, right? So what I'm teaching you, you're going to use for the rest of your life. It's not like something you're going to do today and then forget. I have clients call me from 16 years ago. They're still doing these things. But in addition, I want people to come here and make lifelong relationships, to meet people that are going to help you further your career, or people that are going to be really good friends, are going to support you on your journey. And so the discovery call is to help me make sure that this is the right fit for you. So when you go, there's no question it's going to be something that's outstanding and a memory for a lifetime.
Yeah, it's really important to curate the community and make sure that you have no rotten apples, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a nice way to say it. Exactly, right?
Because
Exactly.
sometimes if you let people in who are not a good fit, then they can just ruin the entire experience for everyone. So it's really
Yeah.
important to keep the quality high.
Yeah. And it's always timing. It really is like, there's so many great people, but sometimes people just, it's not the right time. And I would say
Yes.
you either want something or you want to want something. And if you want to want it, it's, you think you want it, but you really don't. You're like, you're not willing to do everything you need to get there. And that's when you can actually, unfortunately, sacrifice people's fulfillment or your own.
Yeah. So I'll make sure to put all the links in the show notes, and I hope you have a
Right.
fantastic retreat. Now, I started my business back in 2020, so it was the start of the pandemic, and in-person events were a no-no. But now that we are free to travel again, I'd love to do more of these kind of
Mhm.
in-person events, like retreats. They sound super amazing, and it's such a wonderful opportunity to create those memorable experiences that fast track personal transformation.
Mhm.
Now, another thing that we mentioned in the intro that I would love to learn more about is your own coaching app. So, when did you launch it?
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so proud of this. It's funny when I originally made it, it was because I have so many people that come to me. Like I said, I work with only like max usually 15 clients at a time. And if they're staying for years, there's a lot of people that contact me that I can't work with. And so I felt bad because I would get, 5, 10, 15 people contact me a week that want to work with me. And I'm like, I don't have a space right now. So I'd feel
Mhm.
bad that I couldn't help them. And then some people would come and they couldn't afford me. And so I built it originally to have a tool that I could do that would make me money when I was in the room and help people that I couldn't get to. Then the other thing was, so I launched this about 2 years ago. And the interesting thing was, like, I built in, it has a daily progress tracker. So you go in and you track your daily routine. It's become, not only I built it to be this separate thing that was going to go work its own life. And it's become a tool that I use every day now with everybody. So now all my clients use it and it becomes a part of our process because it sends you all these amazing reminders, has all these modules. So each morning it pops up and it says, hey, it's time to do your daily routine. You go in and you track, did you meditate? Did you do breath work? Did you read? Did you eat healthy? Did you work out? Did you sleep? And it's all these things so that not only does it remind you, but it gives me a tool so that if a client calls and says, hey, I had a bad week last week, I go, let me see 1 second. I pull out my phone, I look at the app and I can tell, well, you didn't meditate at all last week. You didn't do the reading. You didn't reach your goals. And it has metrics. We can actually see where you're going. So like we can see daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. It's unbelievable. And in the past, I used to feel like I always had to pull some miracle out of the air to help somebody. And now I look and go, well, look, you haven't slept for 3 days. Go sleep and call me back tomorrow. I think we know what the problem is. But it's been such an amazing tool. And so I have many people who are going through it and doing a 90-day program. So it's a self-paced 90-day program you can do. And it takes you through many of my main modules and provides you with really building that. It gives you something to focus on each day that puts you in the right mindset and starts to show progress. So at least it's like cracking the egg open. It gets you started on the journey. Then in addition, like I said, people that go to the retreat with me get to use the app, and my clients that I work with one-on-one get to use it. So it's been a really valuable tool. And most importantly, I love how it provides so much insight for my clients.
This is so cool. And I'm really interested in learning more about this because for the past 3 months, I've been working with 3 or 4 entrepreneurs inside of my health tech collective entrepreneurship accelerator program, and some of them are in the process of building and launching their own apps. So this is super interesting to me, and if you don't mind, I have a few more questions just
Yeah,
about
please.
so is this a free app or is it a paid app?
This is a paid app. If you're working with me, you get the app with the coaching, but it is a paid one-on-one. And the crazy thing is, so the average cost, I did a ton of research on this. The average cost for a regular 1 hour, a 50-minute or 60-minute coaching or therapy session, low end is $50. High end is probably, mid range is about $150 to $200. So you're going to pay around $100 to $200 for a 1 hour with anybody. And a lot of times that doesn't have a lot of follow-up if you're not in a program, right? Because somebody's going to talk to you and then you're done. So I have 90 days, 13 modules, and a ton of other resources you get in here, guiding meditations, visualizations, all these tools for $300. So you're basically paying $199 a month. It's $299. So it's ridiculous. I created this because I was like, I want people to have no excuse to not help themselves. If somebody comes to me, I don't want them to say, if I can't afford you, I'm like, well, can you afford $100 a month? Would you change your life for $99? And so that's why I developed that. And again, for me, like I said, it's a resource, but I really wanted something that made people do the work, but there's no excuse to not get in there. I mean, like, I can guarantee you, you know this, if somebody starts meditating, that's never meditated. If you start doing breath work, you've never done breath work. If you start understanding how to organize your day and you've never done that, you're going to transform. It's not like I'm Mr. Magic. I came up with something no one's ever done. I'm just putting a tool in your hands and saying, this is going to pop up in the morning at 7 a.m. when you wake up and say, hey, let's do this. And so for $300, I think it's unbelievable what you get out of it.
Love it. Do you know how many users the app has at the moment?
Yeah, I've got a couple hundred in there right now. It's about, I looked at it a couple of days ago, like 200 and something, 211 or something like that, that are paid users outside of the people that are doing the retreat and doing my coaching right now.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah. I kept it kind of limited, like right now too, because it's like, I do have to engage some and do some things. And so like with the retreat development and the other stuff, I'm like, I can't get too many because people do have questions. And I'm like, you just have to hire a team just to answer questions after a little bit of time.
I know, right? What would you say on a scale from 1 to 10? How difficult was it to develop your own app? And did you develop it on your own or did you work with someone?
That's a great question. So I would say it was very difficult and it was very easy. It was very difficult because I kept trying to find the right tool and I couldn't find the right tool, the right team. Everything was, I wanted to have much more creative liberty with it myself and control. And everything I was finding, I was having to go to somebody else to have to do this. And then I found a great company. They're called Nudge. And they developed this app. And the thing is, you go in and kind of like how websites have changed from coding to being able to do drag and drop. They now have a tool where you go in and you build it step by step. And it's very easy. It's like, okay, here's what I want. It'll show you like a screen of what it looks like. And you can put the pictures in and write the stuff in. And it just builds it as you see it rather than coding it. I do know how to do some coding, but I didn't want it. I felt like it was disconnecting me from the experience of the user. And this really helped me. So like, it's so visually stunning. Like a lot of apps, when you go in, I feel like there's a lot on the screen and it's hard to stay engaged. It's like if you go in, it's like so much stuff on a page. Like if you're looking at a magazine online and there's just pop-ups and ads. And this is very clean. It's like you just see a square picture of a module and you go into it and there's a video at the top. And you watch the video and then below it has content with like fields you can enter. And it just feels very user-friendly and the user experience is smooth. And so it was difficult for a while because I kept testing things and trying things and couldn't find the right people. Then I found this and it was off to the races. Then it was just developing. And so that was a game changer for me.
That sounds amazing. I have to check that out. And how long did it take you in the end to build an MVP?
About a year. I mean, it took years of development ideas and false starts and mistakes, but then it took a year to really get it to like, where it is now. Yeah.
That's good to know because sometimes people can have those, expectations that are just not realistic, where they think within a couple of weeks they can have this done. So it's good to hear your.
I'll tell you, I work fast. I have an amazing team, and it's easy for me. Like we turn on the videos. When I shoot the videos, most of those videos were a one take. It's just straight through one time. But that still took a year. The thing I would say in anything you're developing, especially if you're doing like an app, I would say to storyboard it first, create your vision. Then once you have the vision down, then obviously work through all the problems first. Because one thing I think people do is they build the whole thing and then think about the problems. I'm like, build the vision and then think of all the things that can go wrong. Then solve all the things that go wrong, redo the vision, the storyboard. And then when you shoot your content, write out all your content first. Like write every single thing and put it out, like even if you do it like material on the ground and like draw things. And lay it out and look at the flow of it because it's so different. If you just like it's easy to pop on a phone or a computer and shoot something and shoot something and shoot something and then think you have a sequence, but you really never saw it together. You saw it individually. And that was a big mistake I made originally. And then I realized it was better for me to write down what I was going to do and put it all out like puzzle pieces and go, okay, now the piece doesn't work here. I should move this. And I was able to move everything before I started the actual media. And that made a difference. Then I was able to just flow through the media very quickly and, get a final product that worked.
That's a great tip. Now, something that I noticed with the people that I've worked with is that a lot of them just try to be everything to everybody and to
Yeah.
squeeze everything into this one app. So, how did you define your target market? Did you follow some frameworks that you found particularly helpful?
Yeah, well, luckily I've been doing this so long with my coaching business that I had a long runway to prep me for building it. 23 years of doing this. What I'm doing right now with my clients with my Ideal You program, I've been doing for 12 to 15 years. So I just took the model of what I'm already doing that I already knew worked, and I put those same tools into the app. But I had to make minor adjustments because some of the things are very complex, and I'm there to guide them every step of the way. And I'm not going to be there guiding the person when it's self-paced. So I used my formula that I knew worked. So always use something you know works. Test it, right? Don't just come out with something. If you try to create something off the top of your head and go sell it, and no one's ever used it, and you don't have any real data on it, that's real iffy. I think you should use a program for a year or two and have dozens to not hundreds of people go through it so that you can say, this works, this doesn't work, this is what people like. I had so much data on everything I've done. I knew what worked and what didn't. It was just more that I had to say, how can I translate this into something simple? So if somebody's on their own and they open up the app on their phone and they go to do this lesson and there's no one to talk to right then, are they going to understand how to do this?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to kind of simplify things. And there were certain things I said, you know what, maybe this is too complex to have in the coaching app. So let me take this out and let me come up with another version of something that gives them the same result. Because I really do have a formula of I call them pillars of success, that when you go through these things and you build them foundationally, if you don't have a daily routine designed, you shouldn't be jumping out here and looking at what you want to do in 5 and 10 years, because it's
Right.
you have to have how are you going to get there? And so I had to make sure certain things were in there, but I had to say, okay, if this is going to do this and I feel like it's too difficult, how can I still teach them to do this? So like you said, I'm not trying to be everything to everybody. What I'm trying to do is be someone that inspires you and shows you how to feel better every day. So you start seeing just incrementally better results. And so everything is really simple in the app. It is profound. You will get dramatic results, but it's simple. You'd be surprised. You do something like, wow, I can't believe that thing. I'm so much better now. Because I feel that too many things are too complex. We read books, we take programs, and they sound amazing what they can do. They promise the world. But the thing is, it doesn't make you take the first step and start it because you feel like it's so far from here to there. But if it's something simple like, hey, every day get up in the morning and have a glass of water and drink some lemon with it. And you
Mm-hmm.
start doing that for 2 weeks. You go, oh my God, I'm sleeping better. I feel better. My anxiety's down. My skin looks good. My stomach problems aren't happening. There's a glass of water, start simple and start to develop the behavior of showing up rather than trying to get the end result.
Yes, amen to that. One more question on this. How much user testing did you do once you had the MVP for the app? So did you use certain services that help you with the user testing, or did you have a bunch of friends that you asked to test drive the app? How did you do the user testing?
I did friends and clients. I used it for an entire year with all the clients I had. When I had somebody come in who was also, it's like I had last year, I remember I had 15, 16 executives. I was getting probably 5 to 10 people at least a week that were contacting me and wanted to work with me. And I was like, hey, look, I can't work with you, but I'm going to give you a free beta test of my coaching app if you want. So I had another 5 to 10 people coming in every week. And rather than charging them, I was like, this is great testing for me, right? I'm like, they were already interested in doing something. So I got to see who followed through and actually adopted and used the tool. How long did they use the tool? What did they like about the tool? What modules resonated? How far did they go in the program? I'll tell you what was really one of the things that I'm so proud of. One of my best stats is, so this was January of 2022. I started really pushing it out and having people test it. In the first 3 to 4 months, I had 100% adoption of the app.
Wow.
Every person I gave it to, every single person that came up for a consult, didn't even know these people. It was a 20-minute consult. They give it to them. Every single person used it and used it for many months. I'd say that most everyone went like a month and a half to 2 months in. So 6 to 8 weeks at least. And that was really huge. That made me feel good because, it's very hard to get people to follow through with anything, especially, 100% adoption. So that was really good. It's still at a very high adoption rate for the people that actually, go to use it. But that was pretty great. And the best thing I got about it was people said it was very simple to use. There was no confusion. And they started seeing results in the first week to two. So I was just proud because I made something that translated.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That sounds really, really good. Is there anything else that you would like to share today that we haven't touched on so far?
I would just say, I talk about this a lot, especially recently. Sometimes it's hard. I know, like we said, trying to observe yourself and be objective. Like one of the things I talk about is difference between being emotional in your thinking or objective in your thinking. And, it's important to have emotions because they guide us. They're signals that tell us what we should do more or less of in our life. It's like a navigation system that God gave us, which is a blessing. But the problem is sometimes when we hear these things, there's people will be listening to this, listen to our podcast today, the people to watch things online, whether you're scrolling through Instagram or whatever. And if you're in a place where you're unhappy, you feel stuck, you're not seeing the results you want, it's hard sometimes to believe that you can get there. Because from a mindset that feels stuck, that feels depressed, that feels anxious or whatever, it feels like you're so far away. And you can hear myself, you can hear Claudia, all these people talk about all these tips and tools and think, this isn't going to work for me. I can't do it. Or I'm so far away, or when I feel better, I'll do this. I would just challenge you. Listen, the most important thing is that you're never going to feel better until you do the steps. And so the thing is, if you sit around and say, like I had a guy last week that said, I'm interested in coaching with you. When I get over this depression, I'm going to give you a call. Yeah. And I said, oh, no. I said, that's not how it works. I said, I don't care if you work with me or not. I said, but you got to take the action right now because you could get out of this depression tomorrow if you take action now. And so I challenge anybody, if you feel stuck, if you feel unhappy, if you feel any type of emotional way that doesn't resonate with where you want to be, find anything, meditate, breath work, find any good book, any person that's doing podcasts like Claudia, any of our tools, and just start working with one of them. Don't go at it to try to turn your life around immediately. Do that to start to feel better, to see a shift. And what will happen is before you know it, the first step, you may have 1,000,000 steps in your journey, but the first step starts changing everything right away. So just take one step, just do one little tool. And all of a sudden you go, yeah, you know what? I had a little bit better day. I didn't get as triggered. And I think that's the most important thing because I know the void that it can feel like from where you are and where you want to be. But don't let that stop you. It's all about taking action. That's why I call my company Action Mastery. That first step can change everything.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. This is a great place to wrap up today. So where can our listeners find you online if they would like to learn more about you or connect with you?
Yeah, great. Love for them too. The easiest thing is if you search my name, I'm all over the place. So you can either search me on any of the social. I'm either at Brett Baughman or at by Brett Baughman. So BY, like, if I wrote you something, this is by Brett Baughman, or just go to my website, brettbaughman.com. You'll find me everywhere. And look forward to helping. Anybody has any questions, I'm always happy to answer and at least guide you to someplace where you can find the help you're looking for.
Perfect. Brett, again, thank you so much for sharing these tips with us today and to give us a little look behind the scenes of what you're doing. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Claudia. Real pleasure. Congratulations on all your success and everything you're doing. The show is wonderful, and hope you continue to have great abundance and joy in all your work.
Thank you so much. Take care and talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. That's a fantastic, easy, and zero-cost way to help the show grow. Just use the link in the show notes and make my day. Want more? For quick, actionable tips and insights to guided meditations and a side of biohacking, join my inner circle and get access to exclusive subscriber-only content. Again, just use the link in the show notes to join the tribe. Thank you for your support and see you on the other side. Take care and talk soon. Bye.